Good day, YouTubers. In this video, I'm going to be presenting to you one of my favorite weapon mounted slides. This is going to be one of the alternatives out there on the markets that I would highly recommend. This is going to be useful pretty much for your designated marksman rifle, for your hunting scenarios. All those people in the southern states, mostly in Florida, when they go hunting for wild hogs, coyotes, something that they need to put some extra power out there, they use this one because they have 800 lumens of light. So it's you can reach out there a couple of 100 meters and ID, or at least find your designated game. It is also used, I would recommend it for a search and rescue team. They are very lightweight, and they also take up to 20 meters as water submersion, or 66 feet for the Americans. This is one of my favorites. I would definitely recommend this to those people who might be looking on the market for a weapon mounted light with extra lumens out there. I would recommend it for a home defense scenario on your just regular carbine or your range kind of rifle, because they have a lot of lumens, more than what you regularly will be needing to illuminate a regular room. It's a living room, something, just your back patio, anything. Because once you flash these on a white wall, it's gonna wash out all your night vision capabilities that we all have. So you're gonna be the one blinded. So for the outdoor, what you're gonna be receiving on your box from the mail is going to be the original box that this one came on. I already ripped it off. I tried to be gentle, but I'm not good at it. This is the plastic case that covers it, that came in it, so it's going to fit on it. And to the right hand side, this paper is going to be the manual with all the specification, all the tolerances, all the USA pattern and everything that's going to be restricted worldwide. This is going to be the flashlight itself. It's very compact. It's really lovely. I love it. This is going to be the clamp that you're going to be using to attach it to your Picatinny rail on the top, on the side, whatever position you prefer, 12 sideway. So it is super easy. It's not rocket science. You don't have to do any specification or anything. This is the control. This is one of you're going to be preventing for the insertion team or a police officer. When you don't want to flash it accidentally, you just put this control on top, and you're not going to be able to press accidentally and give away your position. On the front, you're going to be able to unscrew this and insert your 123 CR123 batteries. These are my favorite. And on top of that, I like to keep a logistic compatibility with all other my firearms and flashlights and everything, so I'm not carrying 7 different kind of flashlights whenever I need to use them for any of my items. This is going to be the switch control. If you press it, it's going to give you temporary light. As long as you press it, this is my favorite mode for searching or anything on my home defense. This is what I have configured. If you switch this control over here, you're going to press one time, it's going to stay constant. If you press it twice, it's going to give you the strobe mode. This is something is really 800 lumens. If you flash someone with that, it's going to be really blinded temporarily for a few seconds. This is it. It is very simple. The US Patents and International. I've seen, if you go to the Inforce website, they have contract with the government, several agencies, and so it's something that it's controlled. It's not supposed to be taken out of the USA. Highly controlled by TSA. The specifications on this one, the colors that this one is going to be available is going to be obviously the flat earth, peanut butter, I like to call it, it's easier. The black, I would love if they would ever make some olive green. I'm going to spray paint this one on olive green, so it's going to match the rest of my DMR rifle. The weight, that's the best part. Without the battery, it's going to be only 4 ounces. That's a truly joke. If you tell someone you have a flashlight with 800 lumens and only 4 ounces, nobody's going to believe it. So this is it. It's extremely sturdy, extremely light. If you're going to put it underwater, it's going to take up to 66 feet of water submersion for I forgot when it's going to be. You can check that on specification. The function is going to be the constant, the momentary, as I show you, and finally the strobe. The controls on this one is going to be the switch button over here for constant switch and all that. You're going to have the safety over here for insertion team. You're going to have the clamp with the securing screw over here. It is very easy, nothing to be worried about. And then you're going to have the switch control on the side, on the front. You're going to have to unscrew it top for battery insertion. If you're going on a trip, or you're going to just storage this one for a long period of time and you don't want it to use the batteries because they're compressed, you're just going to rotate it 1/4 out after it's been turning on and off, and it's going to prevent the batteries from getting worn out. The considerations, the best place to attach your flashlight on your AR-15 or whatever firearms, let alone rifles, pretty much is going to be obviously on the 12 o'clock. However, if you're going to have the front metal side, that is not going to be possible. It's not going to allow it. What a lot of people they do, they move the side back and then they put the flashlight on the top, and that way they can still aiming. Have this one being shorter. However, because I run a suppressor weapons, it prevents me from getting burned. The front one will be the best. The side is going to be an alternative for people that run their firearm suppressor. On the bottom, position 6 o'clock, I do not like to run my flashlight on position 6 o'clock, since every time you drop it or something, this is going to be the one taking the beating instead of just all the rail covers. It boils down to personal preference. When attaching your light to your rails or any part of your firearms, always make sure all the previous attachment that you have on your rail, the rail covers, the vertical grips, or anything around it, all your bipods, none of them is going to be touching your barrel. I see that happens quite often when you bolt in all your screws. A lot of the time, mostly when you're using your bull barrels, and all those people that wants to copy your Mark 18, your Super Navy SEAL, Marine Raiders, 10.3 inches little carbines that they want to copy on the civilian, they want to do the cloning, they will barely have any real estate, any room over here to install everything that they feel that they need to have for home defense clearance. And most of the time, they're gonna have a hard time trying to install all the attachment and fighting with the gas block and the tube or anything. Just be careful. Any obstruction, any pressure that you're gonna be doing on your barrel, that's gonna give you lost in your accuracy. The way you're gonna install it, you're gonna find your favorite spot and you're just gonna clamp it. This is super easy, simple, very common. You're just gonna press over here and it's gonna open the clamp, and then you're gonna find your sweet spot, press it all the way to the front, and then you're gonna screw, twist it till you get the screw secure, and that's it. You got it. Super easy. One consideration that you have to keep in mind every time you will be installing your flashlight close to your muzzle brake or your flash hider on the front over here, your muzzle device. I did a specific review on muzzle devices, the most common. Always make sure you're gonna pull it back a little bit, at least 1 inch, as I did before. Every time you shoot with a muzzle brake, the velocity, the concussion that is gonna come out is gonna cause damage on the glass that is gonna be on the flashlight. At least the powder is gonna get it clouded over here. You're gonna lose its purpose. So be careful, something that you have to consider when installing your flashlight. That's what some people call smoking your lenses, so be careful. My final advice, your flashlight is going to be one of the most important attachments for all your firearm. You should never go cheap on one before buying it. I've seen a lot of people going online and they got a $10 flashlight attachment for your my home defense AR-15 or whatever, and then 2 months later they have like a shortcut, they have like a false contact, and then when the time is needed, if their lives depends on it, then it's not going to be able to use them. So don't go cheap on it. It's going to be, your life's going to be dependent on it. Having a flashlight obviously is going to allow you to ID your target. I have like almost a fatal incident in my home. One of my relatives, a cousin, he came here, he's got the garage door, he was able to open the garage, but then he never told that he was going to come to pick up something for a friend, some tools. And then on top of that, he cut his hair. He's got long hair. He cut his hair and he shaved his face. I wasn't able to ID him. Luckily, I was able to flash him. And then he told me, I'm here. I called you, but actually I never got a message or something. And then that would have been a very horror, accident. So please, always, if you're planning on having any kind of firearm for home defense or personal defense, always buy it. Decent, at least a flashlight, so you will be able to ID your target and prevent any kind of fatal accidents. A lot of the time when hunters are hunting too early in the morning, You know the stories that they're aiming at a bulky area, like a bulge, something that they see and they thought was a bear or a wild hog on the ground or something, and then they shot and it was a human being that was drunk or someone who's just a camper, a hiker. So accidents can be prevented just by simply having a flashlight. I know hunters, a lot of them, they don't use the orange vest, but you know, at least you do your part preventing any kind of firearm accident, to prevent any kind of incident when you're the one taking the shot. That's going to be on your responsibility, accidentally or not. So just prevent. And finally, never carry one of those lithium flashlight. Even though you can buy them online, they will never be delivered through the airplanes. Lithium is known for being unstable. It will give you the most output when you get it on your flashlight, but it's known to be unstable when taking pressures changes on airplanes and things like that. It doesn't mean that it's going to blow every time, but it's just unstable. Next, I'm going to show you some videos how this one compare the 800 lumen versus the 350 lumen, how it looks on the outdoors. All right, YouTubers, we are in somebody's backyard. My friends, they allow me to take a video in their backyard, so I'm going to show you how it looks when you take a video with your regular civilian flashlight. So it's going to allow you to see 20-15 meter. You see some cactus, you see some grass, you see something, but it doesn't give you the candela or concentrated light in the center that the military will be using in order to be able to focus on any target that may be staring at them, you know. This is your regular civilian light that you can buy it at any Walmart store or anything. So it's not really the best. It doesn't give you the best flood, and it doesn't give you the candela, the center concentrated thing. So it's not exactly what you need for home defense or military defense purpose. That was the regular civilian. I'm gonna show you next a 350 lumens, the one I use for home defense, and I will also be uploading a video on it. How's that? Okay, I don't have. Oh, one clarification. I already check all my firearms before I would do the videos. For all those people with phobias that think guns they shoot on themselves and guns kill people and all those nonsense and stupidity, I always check my firearms before I do any kind of video. So this is the 350 lumen. You can see the float on the side. You can ID what's next to us, like 10 yards. You can see what's next to us, 25 yards. We have bird feeders in the back. My friends, they have bird feeders in their backyards because we are animal lovers. And then you can see the camera cannot catch it, but I can easily see what's going on up to 100 yards over there with the 300 lumens. You can see a lot of float on the around. You can see the candela when you on the center. Even though I'm running a suppressor, as you can catch on the camera, it does not affect because the candela redirects the whole lights to the front. And it has the strobe mode too, in case you need to strobe an intruder. Next, I'm going to show you the 800 lumen. That's the Inforce weapon mounted light that I presented in this video before. So you're going to see the huge difference when comparing flood, when comparing the candela on the center, when comparing all the out power out there. However, I wouldn't recommend it for home clearance or, you know, like a small confinement because it's way too much. Let's do it. This is going to be the 800 lumen. You can see on the side the cactus, and you can see the bird feeders over there like 25-30 yards away from us, and you can see the trees around. In real life I can see a lot more. I would say easily on the 200 yards I can see what's going on over there with the 800 lumens. I can strobe too in case I need to, you know, stun someone like a couple of seconds and surprise, you get busted. And that's it. It's very simple. You have a lot of float on the side and you have the candela on the center, so in case you need to. It's very, very easy. It's very, very useful. So next I'm going to show you how it looks inside rooms. Now we are just inside a regular room. This is what you're going to have with your regular flashlight you can get anywhere. It doesn't have any candela on the center. You can kind of do it, but you're going to have to take your hands from. It might have a lot of float, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, 1000 lumens, whatever, but you do not have a lot of depth perception as I just show you on the outside in the backyard. This is just your regular, you know, flashlight that we all have. Nothing wrong with them, but it's just they don't have the proper use for personal defense, tactical use, hunting, you will need something with the proper candela on the center. This is the civilian one. I'm going to show you now the 350 lumen. This is what you get with the 350 lumen. You can tell how the camera had a hard time trying to focusing on the 350 lumen. You can tell how, because of the candela, even the suppressor does not bother too much. That's a long suppressor. That's a Omega 300 or a review. I will see if I can review another one in the future, a smaller one. So it's going to allow me to see, have like a more perception. This is 350 room. This is perfect for home defense. Sorry, 350 lumens. That's, you can see how the camera sort of have like a hard time. It needs to be refocusing again every time you flash. So that's pretty much what you get every time you try to cut the pie in a room. So it's gonna flash your eyes too as well. I wouldn't go over 350 lumen for room clearance, just too much in my opinion. And this is the strobe in case you need to strobe. It really washed out a little bit your sight. Next is going to be the 800 lumen for pretty much for outdoors. That's what I prefer, but we all have different opinion, okay? You ready? This is 800 lumen. You see how the camera had a hard time refocusing. It took me a couple of seconds. You can see how the floor on the outside around is a lot, and the candela on the center is very reflective. It's very, you can tell immediately. It's really how the camera get washed out a little bit. You can also switch for the strobe mode in case you think about strobing something. There you go. That's 800 lumen strobing. That's really, really, really intense. For the room clearance, I do not recommend. But if you're willing to do it, I mean, it's your firearm, it's your thing, it's quite intense. That's the 800 lumen. You can see how the camera. During the video, I sort of mentioned I'm gonna put it on the roof, so you can see how it's gonna lead the whole room just on the roof. During the video, I mentioned that I talk about the night vision capability. All the human beings, unless you are really over a certain age, we all have the capacity to see at nighttime, not like a cat, not like animals, but in our brain we have in our eyes actually. We have the cane cells and the cone cells that allow us to see the cone cells, mostly during the daytime, the one that looks like a cane shape. Those are the one that allow us to see at nighttime. If you want to improve your night sight at nighttime before you go to the backyard, or you're just hanging out with friends, or you're taking a view of the stars, fishing or something, the way to do it is to close your eyes for at least 15 minutes uninterrupted. And then you will see how much your night vision capability is going to improve. That's generally speaking, depending on your age, if you need to wear glasses, if there is something else associated. All right, friends, that's all I have to share with you this time in this video. I hope you found it somehow interesting. If you like it, subscribe, give it a like. Don't forget to share it with like-minded people and friends and people that you know they will have pretty much a good intention with firearms and they're willing to learn and share their knowledge. You all have a wonderful time. Thank you for following, and God bless you all.